in the heart of the Arctic, where the sun barely peeked over snow-draped mountains. Blizzy, the penguin, and Torta, the turtle, stood shivering on the banks of the frozen Kivlik River, their breath puffing into frosty clouds. The Inuit village of Kikiktajwak buzzed with panic. Their most prized possession, the golden Arctic star medallion, was missing. This sacred relic was said to guide lost travelers under the northern lights and had been passed down for generations. Now the annual winter festival was only hours away, and without the star, the celebrations would lack their usual magic. Suddenly, an Arctic fox with a smirk as sharp as icicles strolled into the village square, balancing the gleaming medallion on its bushy tail. The fox, known throughout the Arctic for its cunning and witty taunts, raised its head and yowled, "Got something that belongs to you waddlers and talkers. Catch me if you can." And with that, the fox hopped onto a stolen slab of ice, using it as a makeshift raft, and disappeared down the river. The villagers gasped, pointing toward the river. The hero of the hour, or perhaps the halfling of the hour, stood with a determined glint in their eye. "Don't worry, folks," Blizzy said confidently, puffing out their chest. "We're gonna catch that slippery fox and get the star back before the festival." Ever the calm strategist, Torta adjusted their scarf and nodded. Slow and steady, Blizzy. "Let's build a raft and get that star back." And so the duo set to work, determined to outwit their cunning foe. Blizzy, with their black and white feathers ruffled by purpose, zipped around, gathering driftwood and kelp from the icy shore. Their flippers a blur as they tossed pieces to Torta. The turtle methodically lashed the wood together with kelp ropes, their strong flippers making quick work of knots. In minutes, they had a sturdy raft, its edges frosted from the Arctic chill. They pushed off into the Kivilik's sluggish current, where ice floes bobbed like giant lily pads under a sky streaked with faint auroras. The villagers watched anxiously from the bank, their cheers echoing across the frozen landscape. Blizzy took the front, eyes sharp, for the fox's trail, while Torta sat at the back, using their shell to stabilize the raft against the river's choppy waves. "There," Blizzy squawked, pointing to a glint of white fur ahead. The fox, perched on its ice slab, turned and flashed a toothy grin. "Catch me if you can, waddle wings," it jeered, kicking an ice chunk into the water to splash their raft. Blizzy growled, "Oh, it's on," as Torta muttered, "Stay focused, Blizzy. That fox is all tricks." The river twisted through a canyon of glittering ice cliffs, the current picking up speed. The fox was a master of chaos, weaving its ice slab between flows with acrobatic leaps, its tail flicking the medallion tauntingly. Blizzy leaned forward, steering their raft with wild spins, dodging ice chunks the fox hurled back with a cackle. "Think you're fast, penguin?" "This river's my playground," the fox called, tossing another chunk that nearly tipped their raft. Torta, unfazed, used their flippers to paddle harder, keeping the raft steady. "Blizzy, don't let it rile you," Torta said, their voice calm as the Arctic snow. "It's trying to make us crash." Sure enough, the fox veered toward a narrow bend where the river roared with rapids. Its ice slab skimming dangerously close to jagged ice spikes. Blizzy's eyes narrowed. "Torta, we gotta close the gap full speed ahead." Torta nodded, digging their flippers into the water as the raft surged forward. Halfway through the canyon, the fox pulled its sneakiest trick yet. With a dramatic flourish, it tossed a shiny, gold-colored rock into the river, shouting, "Oops, there goes your precious star." The fake medallion sank with a splash, and Blizzy nearly dove in after it, flippers twitching. "No way it's that easy," Torta said, squinting at the fox's sly grin. "Check its tail, Blizzy." Sure enough, the real medallion still dangled there, glinting faintly. "Nice try, Foxy," Blizzy shouted, steering the raft closer. The fox snarled, kicking up a spray of icy water to blind them. But Torta's keen senses caught the medallion's shimmer through the mist. "Left, Blizzy. Now, Torta called, and Blizzy swerved the raft, narrowly avoiding a collision with a massive ice floe. The crowd, watching from the cliffs above animated seals and puffins, cheered wildly, their voices echoing over the frozen canyon. The river widened into a turbulent stretch where icebergs loomed like frozen giants. The fox, sensing the chase tightening, tried a desperate ploy. It leaped onto a towering iceberg, scrambling up its slippery side with the medallion clenched in its teeth. "You'll never climb this, slowpokes," it taunted, tossing snowballs from its perch. Blizzy grinned, undaunted. "Watch this, furball," they said. They launched themselves off the raft, sliding up the iceberg's base with a perfect belly flop, flippers clawing for grip. Torta, meanwhile, anchored the raft below, shouting, "I've got your back, Blizzy go." The fox, caught off guard by Blizzy's speed, tried to bolt, but the penguin's acrobatic flips closed the distance. Just as the fox reached the iceberg's peak, Blizzy leaped, tackling it in a flurry of feathers and fur. The medallion flew from the fox's mouth, spinning through the air. Torta, ever reliable, saw their moment. With a mighty heave, they paddled the raft directly beneath the falling medallion, catching it on their shell with a satisfying clink. "Got it," Torta called as Blizzy slid down the iceberg, dragging the squirming fox with them. The fox wriggled free, but not before Blizzy swiped a pawful of its tail, fur, as a trophy. "Better luck next time, trickster," Blizzy teased as the fox scampered off, muttering about pesky penguins. The duo paddled back to the village, the golden Arctic star medallion gleaming on Torta's shell. The villagers erupted in cheers, hoisting Blizzy and Torta onto their shoulders as the northern lights blazed brighter overhead, casting a magical glow over the celebration. Blizzy winked at Torta. "Told you we'd outslide that fox." Torta chuckled. "And I told you slow and steady wins the day." As the village feast began, with fish and seaweed stew passed around, Blizzy and Torta sat by the riverbank. The medallion safely returned to its pedestal. The Arctic night sparkled with stars, and the faint hum of the aurora seemed to hum a song of victory. The fox, watching from a distant ridge, flicked its tail and muttered, "I'll be back, you too." But for now, Blizzy and Torta basked in their triumph, ready for whatever adventure the Arctic threw at them next. The camera panned up to the shimmering sky. The words Blizzy and Torta, Arctic heroes, fading in as the video closed, leaving viewers eager for more.